Hi, my name is Anastasia and I'm the founder of Chelsea Cybersecurity. We're a cybersecurity consulting firm focused on providing cybersecurity and IT support to small businesses. Today, we're going to be looking at some cybersecurity horror stories from 2020. Let's go. Number 1. TravelX. The year really started with a bang as TravelX found its systems compromised by a ransomware attack. Details of the incident were scarce at first, with the company claiming in a statement that it shut down all its systems as a precaution while it contended with the computer virus that had infiltrated its networks. The incident meant its currency exchange services were knocked offline and customers were unable to access their money while abroad, though it also had implications for TravelX's corporate partners. The likes of HSBC and Virgin Money, for example, found themselves unable to exchange currency due to their reliance on the firm's platform. Only several months later did the wider details and context around the incident begin to emerge. First, we learned the nature of the attack was indeed ransomware, but reports then revealed that TravelX paid the attackers $2.3 million in Bitcoin in order to regain access to its networks. This is something the security community and law enforcement generally advise against. We also learned that the attackers exploited 2 unpatched software flaws to gain a foothold in the TravelX corporate network, for which fixes were available. Number 2. The ZeroLogon vulnerability. Widely considered the most frightening vulnerability of 2020, ZeroLogon sparked the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency to consciously direct all U.S. agencies to patch their server systems immediately. Rated a maximum 10.0 on the CVSS severity scale, ZeroLogon is a critical flaw in Windows Server that allows attackers to compromise an Active Directory, domain controller, and grant themselves administrative privileges. The flaw lay in the Microsoft Windows NetLogon remote protocol, a core authentication component of Active Directory, and attackers would only need to set up TCP connections with a vulnerable domain controller. They wouldn't require any domain credentials, and the vulnerability can be exploited to completely compromise all Active Directory identity services. Following glaring warnings, Microsoft confirmed that hackers were indeed exploiting ZeroLogon in the wild. The flaw became renowned within the security community as an example of an issue which, while widely reported, became lost in a constant flow of security news and updates. Some people patched it, but the fact that there's still a lot of places that are vulnerable to this shows that I don't think it's being taken with the level of seriousness that it should. Number 3. In what was clearly a gigantic scam, the Twitter accounts of Barack Obama, Bill Gates, and Jeff Bezos were all seen in July posting bizarre messages asking for payment in Bitcoin. These requests are part of a scheme whereby the high-profile individuals in question would allegedly double your money in an effort to give back. This was certainly one of the most extraordinary security stories of the year and gained a lot of traction, primarily due to the heavy hitters involved. A comprehensive Twitter investigation found that roughly 130 accounts were targeted by attackers during the incident, with the perpetrators gaining the ability to send tweets and even access direct messages from compromised accounts. The firm was also probing the possibility that an employee was bribed for access to the internal company tools used to carry out the scam. The authorities arrested and charged a number of US and UK-based teenagers for their involvement in the attack. Number 4. Blackbaud. When the University of York revealed that it had suffered a data breach, nobody expected this to be the first start of a chain reaction that would grow to include a staggering 120 incidents at least. Although it was the university's data that was compromised, all attention was instead redirected to one of its suppliers, the software company and cloud computing provider Blackbaud. Although Blackbaud's customers and subsequently the public were informed of the alleged compromise in July, the actual ransomware attack took place several months prior in May. Not only that, but Blackbaud revealed that it had agreed to pay the ransom because its customers' data was its top priority. Unfortunately, the pool of affected customers gradually expanded over the coming days, growing from the University of York to a few other institutions and then to dozens of organizations. All were informed 2 months after the incident and were quick to write to their own stakeholders apologizing for the fact that their data had been potentially compromised on Blackbaud's watch. It soon became clear that it wasn't just dozens, but well over 100 organizations that had been caught up in the monstrous attack, including the Labour Party. To add insult to injury, following the beginning of legal action in September, Blackbaud admitted the following month that financial information was among the data exposed during the hack, with unencrypted fields accessed by the hackers. Number 5. SolarWinds. Our final story is also the most recent. In early December 2020, FireEye confirmed that it had been compromised by the work of alleged Russian state-backed hackers. This was initially rather ironic and deeply concerning, since FireEye is a security firm often used by national governments to fend off such attacks. By the weekend, however, concern grew as it began to emerge that this incident, in which highly sophisticated attackers stole FireEye red team tools, was only one piece in a far larger puzzle. FireEye, Microsoft, and the U.S. security arm CISA established the attackers were only able to target the company, alongside what has now emerged to be tens of thousands of other businesses and U.S. government agencies because they had already compromised the software giant SolarWinds. FireEye's security team established, while examining its own breach, that the hackers had a backdoor into SolarWinds. The company had fallen victim to highly sophisticated manual supply chain attack, orchestrated by a nation-state actor and intended to be a narrow, extremely targeted, and manually executed attack. CISA, as a result, ordered all U.S. government agencies to immediately disconnect from the SolarWinds Orion security platform, while the company itself advised users to upgrade to the latest version. This was, and still is, available through the customer portal. Although the flaw in question is patchable, SolarWinds suggested as many as 18,000 of its 300,000 customers may have been affected by the devastating supply chain attack. Indeed, the attackers gained access to a vast array of victims, including more than 425 of the Fortune 500 companies, all 10 top U.S. telecom firms, all 5 branches of the military, and all of the top 5 accounting firms. The absolutely monstrous scale of this attack also means that we are still unpacking the full impact of the attack. I hope you enjoyed our video. If you did, subscribe and follow us on Instagram in the link below. Stay safe out there.